Gemini Man is a 2019 action movie starring Will Smith, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and Clive Owen. In this film, Mr. Smith plays two characters, a retired hitman for the government named Henry Brogan and his 20-year-old clone who is sent to kill him. The film didn't do that badly at the box office. It recorded a profit of $30 million at the box office, but I think it could have done a lot better. The story follows all of the usual action movie tropes like backstabbing. The protagonist only has one or two characters that he can trust. The antagonist thinks that he is doing the world a favor and that he is actually the good guy up until he is killed. And I think that's where this movie gets it wrong. And my big and beautiful brain thought of a way to break these story tropes and come up with a better story for this film that would ultimately make it better. You guys will have to judge if my version is better or worse, and you can let me know down in the comments. By the by, I'm the movie guy and it's time to fix Gemini Man. I think the beginning is decent as is. In the beginning, we have Will Smith sniping a character from a moving train, which is very, very realistic. He almost hits his little girl, which gets the better of his conscience, and he decides to retire. I think that's a pretty good entry. Then he meets Danny, who is an undercover agent who is tasked with surveilling Henry, and he blows her cover and they strike up a friendship. All good up until now. After this, during the night, Henry gets attacked by some agent, he escapes, and he finds out that Danny was also attacked by some agents, and both of them manage to escape. And here are my changes to the story. Henry and Danny should kill the agents, but only one survives, one that has a mask on his face. After Danny and Henry escape, he takes off his mask in order to reveal Junior, the clone of Henry. Now he goes back to Clive, which is the antagonist of the film, and the father of Junior. It's a very weird dynamic, and he tells him that he couldn't kill Henry. Now Clive goes livid and he starts yelling that no son of mine is going to fail at his job, and meanwhile Junior looks down and he is very frightened by Clive. Now this is very different from the film, because in the film Clive is actually very affectionate to Junior and he talks very softly to him. He even tells him a couple of times that he loves him, and it's all sweet. But in my film, he's going to be a jerk who shows Junior no affection whatsoever. And Junior is also pretty scared of Clive. Clive tells him that if he fails once again in his attempt at killing Henry, then he will be punished severely. Then, as in the film, Junior should follow Henry all the way to Colombia, where they have that awesome fight, and Junior once again fails to kill Henry. He goes back to Clive, hand in hand, and Clay is very angry, so he starts whipping his back. The look in Junior's eyes is that of hate. Then the film should continue as in the original. Then he finds out that Henry and Junior are the same person. They go to Budapest. Junior follows them there. He kidnaps Danny. They have this weird conversation where they might spark some feelings. He takes her to some catacombs. Henry comes after her. They have an awesome fight once again, but the difference is that Henry actually gets through to Junior and convinces him that something strange is going on about both of them. He even shows him the test where the DNA sample shows that Junior and Henry are actually the same person. Of course, this is a lot to take in, so Junior just runs away. Henry will find Junior pretty quickly because, well, Henry is Junior. He knows where his safe space is. And here Junior should ask Henry about their past. There should be a lot more scenes where this dynamic of them being the same person should be put to use. More in a comedic way, I was thinking maybe a couple of scenes where they do a sharpshooting contest, because both of them are of course excellent sharpshooters. Or maybe they should have a sparring lesson in which both of them know the moves of the other and they always manage to block it. Or maybe Henry should convince Junior to eat something that even he doesn't like. I don't know, something funny about them being essentially the same person. Junior starts considering Henry as more of a father figure than Clay, and he actually runs away from Clay altogether. And at this point, a deeper bond between Junior and Danny has to be established. It is clear from the film that Danny likes Henry, but in my version, the fact that he is not emotionally available should be realized pretty soon by Danny. But here comes Junior, who has not been through that much trauma. He looks just like Henry. He talks like Henry. Well, he is Henry. And one night they should talk and have a very good time until they almost kiss. But she feels uncomfortable going through with kissing him because, well, he looks exactly like Henry and he is basically just a clone. He's not real. In this way, she would have a much more important impact on the film than, being just Henry's backup. In the ending, Junior, Henry, and Danny go after Clay, and after an intense firefight where Danny gets shot in the arm and is basically immobilized for this section of the ending, Junior and Henry go after Clay. He's of course an easy target, and Junior wants to shoot Clay, but Henry does not let him because he does not want the image of killing Clay haunt him for the rest of his life, a speech that he makes in the film as well. Henry kills Clay, but he gets a call from his old boss at the DIA who asks him to destroy the facility in which these clones were made, and at the same time he talks to him about Junior and how he is just a clone and he will never be happy in this world, he will always be marginalized, and no man essentially should live a life unhappy. And he basically asks Henry to put Junior out of his misery, and Henry's actually convinced by it. He goes back to Junior, who is taking care of Danny, he pulls out his gun, he points at him, he makes this big speech about how this is actually better for Junior because the world is such a nasty place and he will never be happy, just like his old boss from the DIA said. At this point, Danny is disgusted with Henry and she pulls out a gun and shoots Henry. Henry does not move, maybe because he thinks that this is the right decision. He actually saw that he became a monster and accepted his final death. Now in my version, Junior would become a much more developed character. His relationship with Henry would be something that is more important and would make the final scene a lot more intense. Danny would have a bigger role to play in this film. The film would tackle some very important themes such as belonging and accepting other people. I think these changes would make Gemini Man good, but not a classic. So what did you guys think of my ideas? Would they make Gemini Man a better film? Let me know down in the comments, and while you are there, press that like and subscribe button. Click the bell to get notifications every time my videos get uploaded. And until next time, keep on watching movies, guys.